I dedicated more time to studying, I'd get better grades. If I took more advantage of academic and extracurricular opportunities, I'd be a more attractive student to universities. And if I were more effective with my training, diet, and recovery, I'd be a better athlete. Over the past few years, I spent countless moments imagining what my life would be like if I were more effective and efficient. And I've realized that I'm not the only person in my age category facing life-defining choices every day. In fact, it's not just my age group. Everyone on this planet is constantly bombarded with scenarios where they have to decide whether you want to live in the present or prepare providently for the future. Which one to choose? Well, I wouldn't be able to answer that for you, but I can help you reevaluate where you stand. So let's start with a hypothetical. This is Ethan. I drew myself. Ethan is a 35-year-old man who lives in the suburbs. He wakes up at 8 a.m. on weekdays so that he can go to his 9-to-5 job as a construction worker. After a long day, he likes to go home and watch Game of Thrones to unwind before having dinner with his wife and children. On weekends, he likes to wake up late, sleep in, and spend his time gardening or watching matches of the league that he follows. On the nights, he'll either have a bowling night with his friends or maybe go to the pool bar. Now Charlotte here, juror 2, leads a very distinct life from Ethan. She wakes up at 6 a.m. on weekdays and on weekends so that she can get a morning workout in every day. She then spends most of her time working on her small startup so that she can one day reach financial success, or at least stability. After a long day, she likes to go home and cook herself a healthy meal, journal for a bit, maybe read her self-help book, and then go to sleep early. Now, though Ethan and Charlotte lead very different lives, they're actually both very happy. Ethan, on one hand, feels fulfilled by spending a lot of time with his loved ones. However, his doctor tells him his blood pressure is too high and he's not as fit as he used to be in his youth. Charlotte, on the other hand, feels fulfilled by knowing that she's making choices every day that will benefit her in the future. Nevertheless, she often misses her friends and wishes she could spend more time with them, and sometimes gets overworked by all the hard labor that she does. However, she's convinced that her hard work and ambition will take her far. So a lot of us in this room actually can think of people that kind of remind us of Ethan and Charlotte. In fact, I think everyone here can see parts of ourselves in each of them, or maybe just one. The question is, are you one of them all the time, or do you sometimes switch between the two? And what does it all really mean? On this next slide, I'll present to you a visual that I created in an attempt to sort of capture what guides our decision-making every day. So on one hand, we have present-oriented decision-making. These are the types of decisions that we make when we choose to get a sugary dessert after dinner, or when we choose to hang out with our friends instead of working, or in my case, studying. On the right, my left, we got future-oriented decision-making. These are the decisions we make when we choose to wake up earlier, maybe do more exercise, eat a little healthier. As you can see, none of these characters that I presented to you are fully on one side or the other. They actually get to reap the benefits of leaning slightly more to one or the other. Ethan, on one hand, can come off as relaxed and content, while Charlotte can come off as disciplined and ambitious to the people that get to meet her, making them both remarkable people and happy people. However, it is also important to note that veering too far off in one direction can also deteriorate your life. People who are too present-oriented have known to become lazy and often get stuck because of a lack of direction. On the other hand, someone who's too future-oriented can become over-perfectionistic and inevitably burn out. Now, my purpose for speaking to you all today is not to promote one side or the other. In fact, what I want to promote to you all today is to live a healthy balance. So think of it more as a balance beam rather than a spectrum. The thing is, being on one side or the other doesn't have to determine your life, but it can definitely make you reap the benefits of both sides because they actually complement each other. Present-oriented decisions thrive off of future-driven decisions, while future-oriented decisions also thrive on present-oriented decision-making. For example, tonight after this presentation, I'll probably go hang out with my friends instead of studying for my mock exams, which are in about 10 days. Now, some think I might not have the time. I should be dedicating as much as I can to getting that work done. But in my opinion, the fulfillment that it brings me will de-stress me so that I can have more mental clarity when I get back to my work. Again, this is not me promoting one side or the other, but rather a healthy balance of the two. In general, the decisions that we make accumulate to our way of life, but that doesn't mean that our future is determined by the decisions we make. But once again, it is determined by the way we combine those decisions to create good outcomes. Now I want you all to picture this. Imagine yourself in the distant future. For people my age, maybe that's like 10 years. For you adults, maybe 20. And think of the future habits you'd like to have. What would you look like? What would you be like? What would you want to have achieved? What would your life look like? And then think of your present self and your current habits. Is your present self aligned with your future objectives? Or is there perhaps a disconnect between the two? If so, what would you have to give up to get there? Would you really want to do that? By asking yourself where we are and where we're going more often, we can more clearly make choices that actually take us in the direction that we want to go. These choices can actually make more sense to us, and we can get a better sense of direction in our lives. So should you enjoy the present, or should you prepare so that you can one day enjoy the future? Well, I wouldn't be able to answer that for you. I'm only 17. I haven't seen the future yet. But I can definitely tell you that we make choices every day that kind of define our paths without even realizing it. By constantly reevaluating our approach to decision-making, we can create a life for ourselves that truly fits with who we are and who we want to be. Thank you.